Hi everyone. I hope I look a bit better than I did this morning. I feel a little bit more human. Ukraine and Russia. 16 children. 16 children were murdered yesterday. Murdered by Vladimir Putin, the megalomaniac who is now causing tyranny throughout Europe, who is threatening the UK, who is threatening Denmark and Sweden if anybody dares to step in to help Ukraine in their fight to retain sovereignty and democracy. Vladimir Putin is a complete bastard. Have no doubt about that. The man is a sociopath. He has no conscience. He's using now vacuum bombs, vacuum missiles that actually suck the lungs out of people. They're talking about Russia using thermobaric bombs, which apparently are the most brutal weaponry that can be used. You might ask why Russia are intent on grabbing the UK for themselves, calling the government Nazis when the president himself is of Jewish extraction. In my opinion, my humble opinion, standing outside and watching all this, my opinion is the attack on Ukraine is twofold. One is because Putin himself has this desire to be not only the Tsar of Russia, but the Tsar of Europe. He lives in a palatial, wondrous place. This man who espouses communism, whose country people live in a lesser state than average, I would say. Their homes, their apartments, what they have. While Putin reaps all the cream from all the gas exports, all the money laundering, all the filthy scandals and pies that he's involved in, all the properties that the oligarchs have in London, and they need to go. Those people, those Russian people who are in the government, who are supporting Putin, need to have their property taken away from them by the UK government. They need to lose their property for supporting such a tyrant, a despot, a murderer. I know of some men, English men, British men, who have joined the Ukraine Foreign Legion, and they're flying out to join the fighting this week, to join what is to me now a futile fight. There are 40 miles of tanks heading into Kyiv. 40 miles of tanks. And the bastard is using vacuum bombs and carpet bombing the people. There was a little girl yesterday, day before, who was killed, aged 10. There was another little girl, aged 6, who was still in her pyjamas. When attacked by Russian forces on the orders of Putin. What would I like to see? I'd like to see the ordinary Russian people rise up against this evil, satanic man. I would like to see the Russian army lay down their arms and refuse to fight an unjust and criminal war started by that evil, satanic man. Russia has 6,000 warheads, nuclear warheads. 6,000. Imagine the devastation that's going to be raining now upon Ukraine. He's a megalomaniac, he's a tyrant, he's a despot, he's a lunatic. He's been taking drugs, mind-altering drugs, and this is true, it's not gossip. He's been taking drugs and steroids to enhance his physique. This 50-something man with shark eyes, shark, soulless eyes. Look at pictures of him and you'll see there is nothing behind those eyes. There's an intelligence, certainly, but there's no soul. We now hear that the puppet president of Belarus, where negotiation talks were held yesterday, the puppet president, who has his strings pulled by Putin, has ordered his troops into the Ukraine. He's also agreed to allow Russia to have warheads in Belarus ready to go anywhere. In 2008, George Bush sort of used NATO as the carrot when Ukraine were, fighting for their sovereignty when they had a new president, and the sort of sweet little promise of joining NATO all those years ago, 14 years ago, was placed in front of Ukraine. Membership of NATO never came to fruition. They're not in NATO, and therefore NATO will not lift a finger to help them. In the agreement, the contract of NATO, there's an agreement that if any member country is attacked, then all of NATO countries will come together and will defend that other country. That should have happened with Ukraine. They should be members of NATO. NATO should lift not only one finger but the whole damn hand and get over there and help. I do fear that this might turn into World War III. For Ukraine now, certainly, it's their own World War III. People hiding in cellars, families, shortage of food and water. Children dying, schools were attacked, mothers trying to protect their children with their bodies, fathers on the front line with AK-42 rifles. I have to say, I'm proud of the people I know who are going to Ukraine this week. Proud of them. But I also fear for them. I don't feel that it's a war that can be won without a lot of bloodshed. I think we're in for a long haul with it. I don't know what's going to happen with talks now, because Belarus and Russia, the two-faced bastards, held talks yesterday. They already knew. They already had the agreement that Belarus was going to go in and support Russia, was going to agree to have nuclear weapons in their country, ready to fire. They already knew that as the peace talks were going on. And as the peace talks were going on, bombing was still going on in Kyiv. Volodymry Velenskyy, the president of Ukraine, has shown himself to be a man who leads his people. He is there on the front line. He is an orator. He is inspiring. He doesn't fear anything except the loss of life and how to defend his people. Zelensky has shown remarkable leadership qualities, remarkable, and his government too. The people of Ukraine, what can I say? I would be proud to be one of you. Having said that, I'm glad I'm not, because I wouldn't want to be going what you're going through. And I'm so, so sorry at the lack of help other countries and NATO are offering to you. I'm so sorry. Keep your heads high, you should. Be proud, you should. Pray to God. He will hear you. And I wish you all the good luck in the world for what's coming. Take care, everybody. And to the Brits going out there this week, you blokes, you've got no, I know you've got no wife and family and everything, but you've got, you know, wife and children, but you've got family who love you, you've got friends who love you, you've got a lot of support, and I hope you get back. Speak to you all later. Bye-bye.